Brandy at this juncture at the Nationals, if we were to parlay her scores, would have an all-around total of 66. Right now, Wendy Bruce has an all-around total of 64.6. So almost a 2-point difference if Brandy were here and were to use those U.S. national scores.
This is one of Wendy's best events here. She's very, very powerful, particularly on the tumbling. Full twisting double back. Her work is very similar to Brandy's. They have about the same style and the same strength.
Wendy Bruce is a lady who won the international mixed pairs seen here on ESPN. She was teamed with a gymnast from China, Li Jing.
And her coach really feels it was at that point that she kind of came out of her shell.
Yes, I agree.
Middle tumbling pass is a whip back through to a double back. Double turn right into a straddle, half turn jump. Preparing for her last tumbling run. Finishes with a double full. It's a little bit of a weak ending, really, in preparing for the World Championships. We're going to have to see double backs at the end. And in fact, her teammate, Brandy Johnson, her coach just told me she's going to be doing a full twisting double back at the end of her routine. And that's going to be par for the course over there.
And Dixon on balance beam scored 8.875.
We've seen a few dismounts. If you take a look at the tumbling here, maybe you could rank for us what tumbling moves are more difficult than others.
Well, anytime you get into the somersaulting moves, double backs with full twist, those are the most difficult moves you're going to see. The difference is many of the gymnasts will be ending their routines with those. And you'll also see laid out full twisting double backs. And in fact, I've seen double twisting double backs. So we've come a long way in gymnastics, and the Americans are really going to have to push for that difficulty to be competitive. And I'm sure she's working to do a double back at the end here as well.
So a double back is more difficult to execute than a double twist.
Yes.
Cheryl Dundas is our next competitor on the floor exercise. Currently in the all-around standings, she is in 7th position. That's after 2 rotations today, and of course with all the computations from nationals and compulsories factored in. Cheryl Dundas was born in Aurora, Colorado. Currently resides in Austin, Texas.
But she's done well in every event except the balance beam. Her last event, she had a fall. Layout in, double back. Nice clean form. See how she extended the first somersault and then piked the second.
She had great tumbling on the beam. Too bad she fell towards the end of the routine.
Tumbling run, front with a full, very, very weak. She landed low. That's going to cost her. Nice leap in the air, right to a double turn. She has a nice expression in her dance. The judges are looking for that. Hard for the last tumbling run, a double back, really pulled it around. That's tough on the knees.
Cheryl Dundas, 17 years old, a high school senior at Pflugerville High.
And she was really plagued by injuries at the USA Championships. They were really bothering her, but she seems to have come back stronger. She looks better here than she did at Championships, and she's moved up.
She is from Gym Country, USA, coached by
this is that middle tumbling run. She does a front with a full twist. She breaks form in the air, but is very low and a low landing. That's going to be the major deduction in the routine. And I'm glad to see her doing this double back at the end of a routine. It's not the easiest thing for her to do, and you can see that she really has to work at it. Strong lift on the takeoff. And pulls it around, and like I said, that's tough on the knees.
So let's recap the scoring for the gymnasts that we've seen. First on the balance beam, we saw Jenny Esther. She received a 9.3 run 2. Then Wendy Bruce competed on the floor exercise, receiving a 9.662. And finally, Cheryl Dundas on floor, receiving a 9.4. That completes 3 rotations, so the adjusted all-around standings after 3 events look like this. Christy Henrich is still the leader, followed by Wendy Bruce and Sandy Woolsey.
And Shelley Stack and Kim Kelly are moving very steadily and remaining in their position. Jenny Esther had a little bit of trouble, but came back strong in the balance beam.
Our coverage of the World Championship Team Trials will continue. We still have more competitors on vaulting and Florex.
Most valuable object shall marry my...
We're ready now for our 4th and final rotation here at the 1989 U.S. World Championship Team Trials. I'm Leander Riley along with Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, this is it, the final chance to make this team. 16 gymnasts vying for 8 positions. And we are back at the vaulting competition where you're looking at Sandy Woolsey.
And Sandy is sitting pretty going into this final rotation. She's going into vault. She does a very strong vault, one of the most difficult vaults done. She's doing a round-off layout with a full twist.
Safe to say she has just about made the team unless she really wipes out. She's currently in 3rd position.
Good approach. Nice vault. Again, off center. Many of the girls doing this vault tend to go off center on it. It's a very difficult vault. It's a blind move. You have to go backwards onto the board, backwards onto the horse, and it happens so quickly. Good lift up off the horse. Could be a little tighter in the legs, a little higher on the landing, and of course, dead center on the mat would be ideal. But overall, pretty solid vault.
And of course, she has an opportunity now to improve on that score. In case you're just joining us, the vaulting rules that we are using is that each gymnast is entitled to execute 2 vaults. It is only the higher score that will carry.
Sandy has really been consistent all year in all the qualifying meets, the American and U.S. Classic, which qualified them to the USA Championships. She was 1st in one, 2nd in the other. She's just really done great this year.
I think you could hear our public address announcer, Jan Clare, announcing that the score for the first vault was 9.625. So now she'll have an opportunity to try to better that number.
Much better vault. Look at the distance she got from the horse. The height was better, the position in the air. She was more centered on the mat. It was just completely a different vault from the first one.
So the hometown girl does well, and the crowd appreciates it. Her classmates and her teammates on hand to congratulate her.
I'd be willing to bet that's the best she's ever done that vault. Good approach. So much more height and distance. This vault takes a tremendous amount of concentration. As I said, to hit that board going backwards and then get onto the horse. And the vault itself, very difficult and done very well.
And you know she'd love to take this crowd with her to Stuttgart. Score for the 2nd vault, 9.8.
I think that's the highest score we've seen here today.
She earned it. Currently 3rd in the all-around standings after 3 rotations. She locked herself into the top 3 of American gymnastics with that score. Juliet Bangerter, Sandy Woolsey. What a great way to end the meet. What a confidence booster. She heads overseas. The gymnasts will leave from here and go to France. From France, they'll go through a training camp, and then it's to the World Championships in Stuttgart. Shelley Stack is our next competitor. She was an Olympian in 1988. Valuable experience for this young athlete. She's also competing in the vaulting apparatus. Again, a reminder, she's currently in 4th in the all-around standings.
And she's performing the same vault that we just saw Sandy do. It's a Yurchenko or a round-off vault into a layout with a full twist. Nice vault. Little pike in the air. That will cost her a little bit, but she's more centered in the mat. Good distance. She really wants to try and lay that out, though, and not show that pike position. She comes on a lot higher onto the horse than Sandy did. In fact, it almost looked like she was on fingertips. Yep, she was on fingertips. But a good position. Right after she finished the full turn, though, she pikes down. I don't think she needs to do that. She's got plenty of height, plenty of rotation.
And of course, she has a second opportunity now to try to better that score. The judges have given Shelley Stack the go-ahead. You saw her score for the first vault. And now she is ready for her second vault. This young gymnast competes for the Scats Gymnastics Club, where she is coached by Don Peters in Huntington Beach, California.
Trying to improve on this vault. Layout, much better position, but the landing wasn't as good as the last one, so it's kind of a trade-off. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do with it, because overall, it was a better vault.
Kristen Knaller on floor exercise scored 9.225. We'll go right on to our next competitor at floor.
Let's take a look at the mechanics of the vault.
This is Jennifer Mercier.
Good entry onto the horse. Again, right on her fingertips. It was a better position in the air, but the landing wasn't as good.
In both cases, the second vault was the better vault. Sandy Woolsey, 9.8. And Shelley Stack received a 9.625. We'll be back. 1989 World Team Trials continues now. Floor exercise is the apparatus that we are focusing on, and you are looking at Jenny Esther, currently among the field here. She is in 6th place in the standings. Of course, if you factor in Brandy Johnson, she's in 7th place in the standings. Jenny Esther has a very, very slim lead over Cheryl Dundas and Shari Knight, and of course, she's in hot pursuit of Kim Kelly. So this is a lady who could still move after this event. She needs a strong performance.
Exactly. Although the ranking doesn't matter that much, they just want to get in those top 8 spots. But still, 7th, 8th, those are various positions. Whip over, due to a triple full. A little short on the rotation on that twist, but she recovered. It's her gymnastics series. Still very young, but has quite a lot of charm. With time, she'll learn to play with that music a little more, show some facial expression. Double tuck for the middle tumbling run. Excellent landing. Music should be very popular in Europe. Everyone knows it. She usually finishes with a triple twist. Triple twist. Oh, short on the landing again and the twist. That's going to cost her. She might not get her bonus. She most likely won't get her bonus by getting credit for that triple twist at the end.
The score for Lisa Panzeroni on vault.
Take a look at her first tumbling run. Actually, her second tumbling run, double back, good landing.
And in just a couple of moments, we'll be ready to go with our next competitor.
And here's the end where she had the trouble.
Plainview, New York.
The takeoff was not as good as it should be. She only made 2 3/4 of the twist and stumbled out of it.
And now let's move quickly back to the vaulting competition, where Wendy Bruce, the young lady who is currently in 2nd place behind Christy Henrich in this particular competition, just fractions away from Henrich. This is her final event. And as you saw by the graphic, at the U.S. Classic, she did quite well, taking the gold on vault.
It's a great event for her. Lay out, full twist, good position. It's much more dynamic than a lot of the vaults that we've seen. It's an interesting story from the championship. She really had trouble with this vault and actually balked. thought she was going to get a 0 and found out she had another shot at it.